So 10 years ago, on this very spot, right along the roadside here, I took my first adventure motorcycle ride. First time I took a 1000cc quasi dual sport dirt bike out in the desert on off-road type trails, and I wouldn't even probably call it trails that I rode on that day, but first time I had adventured out on something like that. Before that it was dirt bikes, dual sports, and all kinds of road bikes. Anyway, that's a subject for a different video. We're gonna head on down the road and see what kind of adventure we can get into today. Yeah, not to belabor it, but yeah, 3 bikes and about 66,000, 70,000 miles have passed on the adventure bike portion of my motorcycling endeavors. Yeah, today's plan is not really any plan. Have a bunch of campsites in mind. And if we're near one, that's where we'll camp. Took this road to avoid pavement altogether. It's really just a big old dirt superhighway. There's even some 2-lane road I could have chosen to ride, but I figured I'd just stick on dirt, spend a few days in the desert, get away from civilization for a while. Well, we're going to jump off the bike here for a couple minutes and see a couple of cool things. I'm going to keep the helmet on because it is breezy, and I don't even think the dead cat on the other camera is going to stop the wind. sorry for the bike's way down there. You can see it. Sorry for all the heavy breathing, but bike's way down there, and we trundled right up this hill to see this. This is a ore bin, and that little outkick there used to go all the way across. Ore carts would be run out here, dumped into the bin, and then loaded out onto trucks or wagons and taken down the hill. Probably originally to some other processing place, but there was some type of processing plant here, whether it processed for the smelter. I don't believe there was a smelter on site, but however, there was some process done here. All that you see here, this hill, is tailings, and all this rock came from inside that mountain. We're going to see if we can get up to the adit and show you from up there. This slurry right here that you see, I think is evidence that they did process at least some of the rock or ore on site. This is a very slurry type material. It's hard right now, but this is probably something like mercury processing or cyanide processing, where they use that to separate the gold from the rock, and this is the slurry that comes off of it. That used to be like a loadout guard or guard shack or security or something like that. Pretty view from up here. Monsoon storms have definitely taken a toll on these roads. On the hill there, you can see remnants of an old ore chute. Get a little nervous at these mine sites because there's lots of nails around, and flat tires are no bueno. See if we can corral her up and get her headed in the right direction here. So this is the top of the ore bin. Ore, O-R-E, second word B-I-N. And you can see evidence here of cart tracks. You can see the ties. And they just go right out there. This is maybe 10 years, 5-10 years of falling over. This was almost complete 20 years ago when I started coming out this way. All things must come to an end. But these tracks used to come from the adit over there. You can see right over there more of the cart rail ties. And here's two good reasons not to mess around in mines, and especially at night. These are air shafts. I don't know if you can see, that goes down about 50 feet. And there's nobody's been out here. This has been not protected. A lot of times the mine inspector will come out and put a fence around them, but there's so many of these holes that there's not enough manpower to block them all off. Let's go a little ways into the adit here. So as we enter the mine, this is what's called the portal. And this vertical, people call them tunnels or caves, but this is what's called an adit. This offshoot here would be called a drift if it was off of a winze. A winze, let's back up here for a second. So you have adits, you have a winze that goes down, so they're following an ore vein, so they go wherever it goes. So if it goes straight out, they go straight out. If it goes down, they go down. And a lot of times they'll go down with a winze and then drift either side wherever those veins go. And in this drift, we can show you, this would be called the face of the mine. And this is where they ended at the end of the vein. So there was maybe some type of offshoot, or they were prospecting over. But that's the face. So they would blast and drill and blast and drill as they went along. You can see this rock would be taken out and moved out into that waste pile, or put in the ore bin if it was valuable rock. So this tunnel goes back about 300 feet. I'm not going to go all the way back, and I believe it kicks off to the right. This is still a mining claim, but I believe it's mined out. Someone does own it, because I did a video on this about 10-11 years ago, and they contacted me. It wasn't a big deal. They just said, hey, I own that mine, it's pretty cool. So, but as you're walking along here, what you can see is good floor. What you don't know is what's underneath this. A lot of times miners would have covered over winze with boards and then just put dirt over it, ore tracks. You think you're walking on solid rock, and you're on what's called a false floor. And sometimes you can step right into a winze and drop 300, 400, 500 feet to not so good health conditions. Again, I apologize for heavy breathing, but this one goes off to the left. Looks like it faces out right there. This goes, like I said, goes back another couple hundred feet. We're going to turn around here because we don't have the right equipment, and head back outside to the portal. Well, we'll get back on the bike here and head back on out of here. Well guys, as you can see, my saddlebag is done for. That was not a rock that I hit with my front tire. It was the rock wall that I hit with my saddlebag. It tore it completely off, well, almost completely off. Good thing I still have my junk. The bike was acting a little wobbly and I thought maybe the tire was going low, but I'm going to do the old ratchet strap trip. Just as a postscript to this, make sure that you have all the stuff you need to effectuate any or effectuate a remedy to any situation you may have. These straps are always on me. At least one of them is in my water pack and one of them is in my large bag. There's actually another one in one of these saddlebags, and they have multiple purposes: to strap down stuff like this, to help with a flat tire, getting the bead back on, but there's bunches of things that these can do, and today they're helping me out greatly. I'd be stuck here, or at least leaving my bags here if I didn't have it. I really could soldier on here, but I'm not that far from home. I'm about 140 miles away from home, and my clothes are wet because the water leaked out and possibly could have at least dampened some of the stuff I didn't have in plastic bags. So instead of dealing with that, I'm just going to go home, get a good night's rest, and probably just go on a ride tomorrow. So again, appreciate you watching. Please comment, subscribe, like, and share. Ding that bell so you get notified when I put up a new video. Adios.